Thank you so much, Akhil, for joining us on a podcast at Dawdle. Thank you for taking out time for sharing your insights with leaders from across the globe. We were going through your profile. You have worked across digital transformation in various companies. Now you lead digital transformation at Crompton Greaves, and we have kind of a set of questions for you, which we want to ask and enlighten ourselves with your insights. But before we do that, if you could take us to your journey so far, so as to give a context to our audience.
Sure. Thank you, Rishikesh. Thank you for having me here. Appreciate this. And just to give a quick background, it's been about 14 and a half years I've started my career from Mumbai. I've started after MBA, started with sales, B2B sales. Then landed an opportunity with one of the leading cement companies in India in process excellence. Stayed there for 6 years, learned various nitty-gritties of sales, logistics, and sales automation, process improvement. Then moved on with one of the leading chemical companies in India. Did sales operation there for 2 years, learned the nitty-gritties in more depth. And then about for 4.5 years, I worked with one of the leading startups uh, in the industry, Hamburg. There I did 2.5 years of sales excellence, set up the various processes for sales excellence and the foundation. Then moved on to CX for a couple of years, proved the basic custom consumer experience journeys, overall service operations. Did that for 2 years, and then last almost say close to 18-19 months now. I'm at my current role, right, leading the digital transformation for both Crompton and Butterfly for sales, service, and marketing. So that's in a very nutshell about me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Akhil. The entire experience is around sales excellence and digital transformation.
Largely,
And
yes.
the first topic is on that only. So you have led digital transformation journeys across these all industries that you mentioned. What are the common challenges that you have observed when it comes to adopting digital, especially in traditional industries?
So, see, Rishikesh, in my experience, the real challenge is not technology, right? That, especially nowadays, there are enough and more tools available. Almost every company is trying to do what best they can do. But I think the real challenge is in the mindset, right? In traditional industries or companies in India, if you see, people are comfortable with a certain ways of working, which they have worked for a very long period of time, right? Bringing digital into the ecosystem, it's like kind of a disrupting the muscle memory. Okay, and that is where it takes a lot of time and effort. Another challenge I find generally is that almost all companies have a lot of rich data but sitting in silos, right? So to be able to stitch that and knit that together and do a democratization of that data across the ecosystem is something that is challenging. The companies which are able to do that meaningfully and fast are in few steps ahead in their game, right? So I think what works is when the leadership creates a shared vision and the frontline team sees how it is enabling them to their job to do their work in a much better manner. The easier the entire and the more smooth this entire journey is, the better it is for any organization. And once that alignment is built, then adoption starts moving very, very fast.
Yes. And there has to be, a few people on the ground who should keep on, you
Yeah.
know, pushing the things at the ground level. Now, see, coming to sales excellence, in your experience, why do organizations still struggle with achieving, say, the real-time visibility in secondary and tertiary sales?
See, before I get into the secondary or tertiary sales, I think largely for all organization, primary sales is sorted. That's easier to track. You are billing from your own source to your primary customers. It can be your channel partners, it can be distributor, dealers, and the entire ecosystem or B2B sales. Right? So that is relatively within your control and within your purview. But the moment you move down from channel partners to retailers, from
Yes.
retailers to consumers,
True.
right, or from your MOR shops, the organized retail to consumer, that's where the ecosystem gets fragmented, right? Some companies run on manual ways of working, some do the automation, but again the stitching is not complete. As a result, lot many times I have observed that the field team doesn't feel empowered enough. They
Mm,
don't feel that it is enabling the entire any tool that you implement or any digital
mm,
intervention that you build, it faces with a lot of resistance, right? Because
mm.
they don't feel empowered. They somewhere feel that they are being policed with this. So as
Ah,
I said earlier, unless and until they start feeling that they are empowered and the tool is helping and enabling them. Right? It can be faster order. It can be real time visibility of order status. It can be real time updates on the schemes, on the settlement. So once that starts happening, then I think that's where the adoption and that's where the real visibility of secondary and tertiary starts happening, right? And the next point would be that your tertiary and secondary program has to go hand in hand, right? If you are working on ground to ensure your tertiary moves, right, that will result into secondary and automatically primary will be taken care of. Unless that starts happening, then on one side you will any company would be focused on primary, secondary would
Yes.
be fragmented, tertiary may or may not have any idea depending on how much groundwork anyone is doing there, right? So whether it's faster credit notes, better scheme, loyalty rewards, without that, visibility remains patchy. All of these things will go to hand in hand. And as I said earlier, the team on ground has to feel empowered. They have to feel that whatever tech stack that you are bringing is helping them, right?
Yes.
And entire vision should be knit together right from primary to secondary to tertiary. If that
Yes.
happens, then the magic starts to show.
So you told entire vision has to start from primary to secondary and tertiary. But then you also mentioned is that whatever tools that you are implementing should take the tertiary first into account, because if things move good there, pre will automatically be in place.
Correct, absolutely. So, if you, since we are on that topic, I'll just give a quick example. See, lot many companies have their loyalty program, all right, which is focused towards either towards retailer or shop boy or influencer, right? Now, all these people are doing or enabling your tertiary. Sorry. Now, if you are not tracking that, if you are not focusing on that, and if you are not bringing that visibility into your secondary sales, right, the two system will not are not going to help each other. And until that happens, the distributor or the primary will not have much visibility, right? If the retailer or the shop or your channel partner knows that the company is the program by the companies are focused in a manner which will enable tertiary from their shop, right? Then they have no other choice but to order for that material or order for that brand, right? And that's how your secondary will happen. If channel partner knows that this is working, the entire leg is working for him, he will start having the primaries,
Yes.
right? So that's how you create a pull system instead of a push system. Anyhow, you have to have a balance of both. But the more meaningful you are able to drive this, the better it would be with respect to understanding what is working out and what is not working out in the market.
This is insightful. And related to this is another topic which is around loyalty and retailer engagement programs. And you have designed a lot of these programs during your instance. So how do you see the role of retailer engagement evolving in the next few years?
See, if you see traditionally, the engagement meant discount or schemes, right? Product is not moving, give scheme, give additional scheme or discount on non-moving SKUs and all. It was largely transactional, right? Now that is changing fast. The retailers, in my view, today want to that recognition, knowledge, and they want to feel that they are a part of the brand, right? They're part of the growth story for the company. For example, a retailer who gets trained on the new product or the new line of products and is showcased by the company on digital platforms, right? He or she feels more valued beyond monetary rewards, right? And for example, I'll give you a quick example. Let's say if the retailer's presence is there on the GMB, that's Google presence is there for the retailer, and let's say that's a sizable retailer for the brand. A very small example of helping or giving a better shape to his GMB account on social media, on Google, creating a let's say a e-manual for his range of products that he is having, which mean that your brand, another brand also comes into the picture. If you guide him, handhold them, and then spend some money on helping him that way, that these kind of association will go far beyond. If you are launching a new line of product which has better feature, better product differentiation with respect to competition, and if you are not spending time with the retailer or his shop or his or her shop boys to explain them how the product is superior, how the features are differentiated from the competition, then there is no point, right? Until that happens, retailer will not be able to convincingly sell or inform the consumer, the walk-in consumer, right? So in my view, I have seen the moment the brand starts doing that takes them long. And going forward, loyalty, I believe, would be a mix of financial incentive, but also kind of having or to be able to create a feeling for the retailer that they are a part of the growth story and the brand. they should feel that they are learning, they are growing, and they are also up to date, right? So if that starts happening, that is what I think will build a long term advocacy for the retailer ecosystem.
Yes, and they will also make them stick to the brand,
Yeah, obviously.
because there's a lot of switching which is happening these days by the
Correct.
retailers from one brand to the other.
And see, there are enough and more examples of this, right? I cannot take the name of the brands, but if you see, we as a consumer have done it ourselves. We have seen a lot of consumers doing and not asking for a product, going and asking for a brand, be it
Yes.
with respect to water, be it with respect to adhesive, be it with respect to a certain kind of air conditioner, right? So people go and ask because they have created that kind of an impact in the last many years, right?
Yes, but when it comes to a newer brand, I think this retailer engagement becomes more important, because those are
Yeah,
the people
absolutely.
talking
Absolutely.
about
All
it.
the more because why will a retailer give you space to a new
Yes.
brand, right? He doesn't have any incentive. The
Yes.
consumer doesn't know.
Mm,
The new brand doesn't have much money initially to spend on
mm,
ATL and BTL.
yes.
Why will he spend and take effort on his own if the brand
Mm,
is not willing to do that? If the brand is not willing to handhold the retailer, explain the retailer, and do the heavy lifting at his shop, until
mm.
that happens, you will not, any new brand will not get a space, mind share and shelf share from a retailer.
Now, sir, related to this is a topic that you have introduced NPS and CSAT across multiple customer touchpoints. Beyond just measurement, how should organizations act on these customer feedback to truly improve experiences?
Yeah. So that's a good question. And see, in my experience, a lot of companies are very good at measuring these things,
Mm, mm,
right?
mm,
But the gap comes in the execution or the action, right? Unless and until the feedback, whether you call it a NPS or you call it a CSAT, any feedback which you are taking at scale from the consumer with respect to the pre-purchase journey, right? The entire experience during pre-sales or after sales with your service, right? Or
mm,
with the quality of the product, with the quality of the technician or the service executives which are representing the brand.
mm,
Until that happens at scale and you are able to close the feedback loop, it is
mm,
a problem, right? So it's kind of a design flaw, right? Execution issues like, let's say, delayed installation,
mm,
right? Or delayed service with
mm,
respect to a lifestyle with a product which has to run 24/7, right? Unless those things are able to, you are able to resolve very very fast and monitor any gaps happening not only at a national level, but maybe the problem is at a particular region, particular district, or
mm,
particular pin code. Unless
mm,
and until you are able to understand where the problem and solve at scale and solve very very fast, right?
mm.
Then all these things are good in numbers. So quick wins on execution needs immediate escalation and resolution. At the same time, structural issues should be flown back into the product feedback and product development,
Yes.
right? So let's say, for example, if you are getting a particular product related feedback across
Mm,
geographies, right, that has to come back into the system and that has to flow into R&D and product team very, very fast for them to be able to act on that, right?
yes.
If it is a particular problem with respect to delayed service in a particular geography, then you
Mm,
have to go back and understand whether your partner ecosystem is working well or not, right? You have enough partner ecosystem or not? Are they overwhelmed, right? Or is there, by the virtue of the volume, they are not able to make money with you and their mind share towards competition is high,
Yes.
right? So you have to understand, go deep and solve systematically. And if
Yes.
that problem needs attention at scale, then you have to solve that. If that problem is a particular region specific or a geography specific, then also you have to immediately solve it, right? Unless and until you do that, then you are not able to close the loop. And the
Yes.
moment you do that, then you will see that impact and appreciation across channels. When
Mm,
when you are engaging via CSAT, NPS, when you are engaging with the consumer via calls or emails, or organically the consumer coming on social media and appreciating the
yes.
service experience or the brand experience, whatever it is. So that entire loop has to close meaningfully.
And related to this, mind share that you talked about. So online reputation management, so how important it is, because now people can come on social media, can talk good things about you, but they also come on social media and talk very bad things about you if the experience is bad.
Yeah.
So, how important is it in today's digital first environment? If you'd like to shed some light on that.
Sure. That's a very interesting question, Rishikesh. So, see, for a lot of new age companies who are willing to spend time and effort, that's a very good channel, right? Because with so many social media options available and your own brand presence across media, it is very easy to for the consumer to come and escalate in these channels, right? It can be a positive experience, which is good for the brand, but most of the time it is a negative experience and a escalation, right? And by the virtue of people aware about the entire management, they can, the beauty is that they can go and tag your seniors in the ecosystem as well, right? And
Yes.
then went their heart out,
Yes.
what and how they're feeling, right? So in my view, what or online reputation management is not an optional, it's very critical for the organization, right? It is not a good to have, it's a must to have, right? And that too meaningfully, right? A single unresolved tweet or a single unresolved message on any social media can do harm to the brand, right? And the difference today is speed and empathy. Customer, in my view, so I have had words with many hundred consumers. I have been on the receiving end of the anger also, and I have been on the receiving end of the appreciation also, right? People have tagged me in social media saying that probably running the best service experience, and at the same time people have vented out saying that worst service with a
Mm,
brand that they can imagine, right? So customers, in my view, don't expect perfection.
mm.
They expect you to hear them out, acknowledge, and
Yes.
act quickly,
Mm,
even if you are getting delayed for reasons which are beyond your control.
mm.
The expectation is that you be empathetic enough to inform them and
Yes.
keep them in the loop, right? In my view, I have seen if you do that, 9 out of 10 escalations will come down.
Mm,
People will understand that there are certain things that the team or the brand is trying to do. Some of
mm,
the things are beyond their control, but
mm.
as far as you keep them in loop, that's what they expect, right? And the companies that do it best are the ones who respond visibly and empathetically and use the feedback to strengthen the overall process, right? The more meaningfully you are able to do that and the more faster you are able to do, the better it is for you. Because when you are doing it, when you are engaging
Mm.
escalation on any of the social media,
Uh,
right? People see that.
yes.
People see how you are doing it, how you are handling that,
Mm,
right? And people also see whether it is a genuine effort from the team or the person who's trying to resolve, or whether it is a bot responding that we have taken a note of it and somebody will reach out, this that, right?
yes.
So that people see that and people make a perception of their own ki how things are happening. So that's very important.
Yes. Thank you so much, Akhil. And the next thing is around data. So you have used GIS and analytics to drive sales and branding strategies in your experience. Where do you see most of the companies kind of fall short in leveraging data, especially for decision making? And also, kind of put some light on how predictive analytics and AI is helping organization move from reactive firefighting to proactive growth planning.
Correct. Again, that's a very very fair question. What I have seen in my career at least is that a lot of companies stop at reporting, right? The dashboards are made depending on the audience and that tell you what happened, but most of these dashboard doesn't translate into what to do next,
Mm,
right? Most of the companies build dashboard but that doesn't tell you what to do next, right? So let's say companies
mm,
create these dashboards for sales team
mm,
and the entire hierarchy across sales to give them a visibility of what happened until a period of time. It can be a quarter, last year, until yesterday, right? But that's important. I'm not saying that's not important, but what next, right? The real power, in my views, comes when the data is contextualized, when a salesperson on field gets a clear action, like which of my channel partner or which of my retailer is at risk of churn, whose billing is getting dropped, whose billing is getting picked, which of my partners are contributing in the new SKUs that has been launched, how many of my partner ecosystem are participating in a particular scheme, how many of my influencers are leveraging the loyalty program that has been rolled out. Until they get a view of that and they get a real time understanding of what parameters and what KPIs are at risk, right? It is not going to help them move forward. I strongly believe that the data democratization has to move from boardroom to the front line to unlock the real value. I have been it's by the virtue of my experience and some of the places that I have worked, we have been able to do this in some of the critical data points, and I have seen the value unlocking happening, right? And that brings a real empowerment to the team, because otherwise that person in if you have not done this, that person depends either on his own to do Excel crunching, number crunching, or depend on some regional MIS or a zonal MIS to share the information, right?
Yes.
And it can be too little too late, especially nowadays, right? And predictive analytics, coming to predictive analytics and the AI intervention, I believe that predictive analytics shifts the game completely. Instead of, for example, let's say waiting for a distributor to stop ordering and then wondering what happened, AI and predictive analysis can bring in early warning signs, right? Instead of analyzing churn after a churn has happened, right? AI and predictive analytics can bring in the early signs of churn of a channel partner or a retailer or my influencer, right? And we just discussed how powerful that is. In service, for example, predictive models can forecast product failures before they spike into escalation. They can tell you which model or which part in a model is about to get conged off, right? And then you can maybe do a predictive servicing. AI can simulate different scenarios so that the leaders, the people on the field, the sales leader can make informed bets rather than reacting late, right? So I believe all of these things are very powerful and are getting unlocked. How meaningfully and how well one is able to do is, I think that they will be able to move very fast on these things.
Yes. And then the problem is also what you mentioned in the beginning, like data lies in silos in various
Yeah,
departments, and
of course. Yes.
getting it together is a challenge.
Because see, another example I'll give you that I've heard questions like, why do salespeople need to know the failure rate of a product, right?
Yes.
And they just need to focus on sales and should not be aware about a CSAT in their region or a product failure that is happening or what is causing that product failure, right? I believe that they have every right to know this, right? And they should be kept in loop what is happening so that they can do their job far more effectively. Because
Yes.
all of these questions from consumer are going to the channel partner and then channel partner to sales team. So
Yes.
instead of them depending on coming back and asking question and then you explain, it's better that they should have a real time visibility so that they can feel more empowered.
पहले ये लॉजिक था कि सेल्स वाले को बताओ मत, तो वो फिर प्रोडक्ट अच्छे से पिच नहीं
एग्जैक्टली फिर वो उस चीज को पिच नहीं करेगा या उसको बेचेगा नहीं, राइट? बट सी, व्हेन यू लॉन्च अ प्रोडक्ट you don't want to shy away from it, right? You would want them to solve fast and
कर.
move faster. So unless you do this kind of a data democratization, it is difficult.
And now, coming to marketing automation and personalization, and we know that consumer durables may usually mass campaigns, TV, and all those things,
Yeah.
have actually worked out well. How do you see marketing automation and personalization shaping this industry as such and all the traditional sectors in the coming years?
I've seen some of the consumer durable companies behaving like an FMCG when it comes to marketing, right? In FMCG and in banking industry, this makes a lot of sense, right? And the quantum of data is and the quantum of historical purchase data is so much, not at a consumer level, but in case of FMCG, maybe at a retailer level, in case
Distributor.
of banking at a consumer level. The
Yes.
data is so rich and so in such huge quantum
Mm,
that you can do probably the best personalization and customization on it, right?
mm,
When it comes to consumer durable, I think there is a lot of journey and the groundwork to be covered. Automation will allow hyper localization and personalized campaigns, right?
mm,
So at least if you observe nowadays, you will start seeing brand getting engaged with consumers with via social media campaigns, and
Yes.
it is very hyper localized or very relevant, right?
Yeah.
By the virtue of the SEO, GEO, and all of these things evolving, right?
Mm.
So you know in which geography or in which region what consumer what sets are searching for what product, and you
Yes.
can bombard them with a hyper personalized campaign of your product if they are in
Mm.
the buying journey, right? So you have enough and more tools nowadays
Mm.
that will help you understand which consumer is at what stage of buying journey,
Mm.
and accordingly you can spend money on that particular thing to engage with that consumer. So that has already started happening at consumer durables also,
Mm.
right? But the challenge will be a balance of automation. It should not get into a domain where it is spamming the consumer, right?
Mm.
That doesn't mean that you bombard possibly every channel possible, that
Mm.
the consumer starts getting frustrated
Mm.
and says कि यार मैं I will do anything but इसका product कभी नहीं खरीदूंगा, right? That has happened with me,
Yes.
right? And it really puts you off, right? Done, if it is done well, it means every touch point, whether sales or service, feels tailored and relevant. I think few years down the line, maybe 3 to 5 years down the line, marketing won't be just about launching a product.
Mm.
It would be how well you are able to orchestrate customer journeys end to end, right? Right from understanding and getting engaged with a consumer when he is at a buying journey, understanding when that buying journey is going to get converted into a product purchase, right? And then stitching together the entire repository of when and how many times that product required servicing,
Mm.
so that you understand the overall customer association and his experience, and then possibly connect with him or her much more meaningfully for a upsell or a cross sell opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, it's like, if let's say for example, if I have bought a water purifier of a brand
Mm.
and my experience is very poor, right? And the brand comes back and says ki yaar, you are using my water purifier, here use my mixer grinder also, I will never gonna do that, right? Because that experience, that pain will always linger in my mind. Unless you solve that for me, I'm not going coming back for a repeat purchase of any other line with that brand.
Got it. And now, coming to the, end of the podcast, we have a few questions around AI and generative AI. What excites you the most about the role of AI and generative AI, especially in sales, service, and customer experience?
See, as I touched base this piece some time back, I
Yes.
feel earlier only senior leaders and maybe boardroom level people had the insights of what is happening by the virtue of the various studies that are being conducted and various models that are being shared with them. Today, by the virtue of cost coming down so much,
Mm.
and that if you are really your thoughts is in the right place,
Mm.
you are able to democratize that data right to a FOS or a field person level who's at the bottom of the pyramid, who's doing the heavy lifting for you. And you can empower and enable him with AI driven recommendation on which, for example, which outlet to visit, what is the probability of a outlet or a beat giving you a certain business for the day, right? Or maybe a service agent to auto generate a troubleshooting guide. Generative AI can also nowadays is able to create personalized marketing content and training module instantly,
Mm.
right? So we have seen that I've implemented, and I've seen this various brands doing it more meaningfully to do a online troubleshooting, right?
Yes.
The
Mm.
right diagnosis at the right time with the help of technology, and enabling the consumer to do it maybe on their own, something which is very small and very doable at their end, right?
Mm.
So it's more about empowering the front line with intelligence and not just keeping to certain set of senior people. I think that's where the real transformation lies for AI and generative AI.
And at last, if you have to give some piece of advice to business leaders who are embarking on digital transformation journey, what would it be?
So to sum up what we discussed, and anybody or any brand who's into a journey, is to first understand and define clearly their KPIs, right?
Mm.
So digital, so you have to get out of a mindset that it is an IT intervention or IT tool,
Uh,
right? Understanding and appreciating that digital is a part of doing business more meaningfully and more intelligently is what separates nowadays. Without that, you will not be able to go deep and solve many problems with respect to your field or online or service or marketing, right? And you have to see what are the common KPIs that you are able to stitch together, right? You can't have all your KPIs which are non concurrent between sales, service, marketing, and other
Hmm.
functions, right? You have to identify those KPIs which are common, which are helping or enabling or making becoming a deterrent to do other functions job, and
Yes.
stitch together and ensure that visibility is there to all the functions as real time as possible, and not create data silos or within an organization. The better and the fast you are able to do, the more empowered people will feel within the organization, and it will, and also the channel partners will understand by the
Yes.
virtue of their engagement and association with various functions. They will
Hmm.
also understand ki boss, for certain set of things, at least when I talk with sales, marketing or service, or
Yes.
whenever any market visit is happening at with me
Hmm.
at my level, people are talking the same language, right?
Yes.
So that tells how serious a brand is. And these are some small points which enable and empower channel partner also to put their skin in the game,
Yes.
right? So that would be my 1 cent on that.
So thank you so much, Akhil, for joining us. Very insightful discussion. And it's going to help a lot of digital transformation leaders from across the globe gain
Okay.
insights from your experience. We again are very grateful at Dawdle that you took out time for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rishikesh. Appreciate. And I hope people are able to leverage the key takeaways from the discussion that we had. Appreciate the lineup of the questions that you had. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you so much, Akhil. Thanks.